Years. That's how long Craig Coley has spent behind bars for a crime he has always said he never committed. Now, Simi Valley police
Coley was convicted of the 1978 killing in the sex
began working with the DA's office and found that
another man was falsely convicted of the crime, and now investigators hope DNA will prove that D'Angelo was the real killer.
The origins of forensic science begins with the ancient Chinese Song dynasty, where the washing away of wrongs, the first written account of using medicines and entomology, was published by the Chinese author Song Qi, the director of justice during Song dynasty. The book explains about the methods in protecting the evidence during examining process, explains the importance of forensic worker to demonstrate impartially to the public, describe the evidence from examining the corpse, and methods in distinguishing between suicide, fake suicide or murder, and accidental. The development continues when the two Italian neurosurgeons Fortunato Fidelis and Paolo Zacchia studied changes occurred in body structure due to the disease and founded the modern pathology. The writings on these topics appeared as a treatise on forensic medicine and public health by French physician Francois Emmanuel Fodere, and The Complete System of Police Medicine by a German medicine expert Johann Peter Frank. In the 18th century, the criminal investigation has changed into a procedure with evidence-based and rational. I would like to introduce what is forensic science and forensic biotechnology. So first of all, forensic science is a very critical tool that is used in criminal investigation and administration of justice, where it provides important information and evidences that were collected from the crime scene, while forensic biotechnology is a biological forensic analysis that is very important in criminal investigation. This is because it can help the scientists to collect and process evidences such as hair, blood stains, nails, fingerprint, lip print, or even saliva that were collected from the crime scene. So one of the examples that is used in forensic biotechnology is polymerase chain reaction, or PCR, where it allows precise identification from a very small piece of evidence. The development of forensic science continue with the toxicology, ballistic, anthropometry, fingerprint, the unlethal test, DNA, maturation, and the development that starts from 19th century up until 21st century, which is still developing up until today. The advantages of forensic biotechnology includes help in finding and collecting invisible evidence, help in identifying a person by using DNA fingerprinting, help in analyzing old teeth or bones to get the person's DNA using DNA sequencer, help in matching evidence with the victims or suspect using fingerprint method, and catch the criminal.
As university involved, our internationally renowned faculty are actively involved in teaching and research in microbiotechnology, plant and animal biotechnology, environmental biotechnology, host microbe interaction, nutritional genomics, immunological biotechnology, molecular genotyping, and the biotechnology of sustainable bioenergy.
As for the government ministries and agencies involved, the FDDM, which is Forensic DNA Database Malaysia, has been collaborating with the Royal Malaysia Police, RNP, and the Department of Chemistry Malaysia, Kimia, in conducting DNA profiling, which is obtained from crime scenes, and it would be compared to the arrested suspect for testing. Next, the industries involved is Construction Institute of Malaysia, which is known as CREAM. MKRM CREAM has been collaborating with CIDB in assisting the investigation and enforcement actions regarding forensic services that involves collaboration with local university and industry specialists. The forensic team of CREAM is supported by a huge range of development laboratory equipment in accordance with the CIDB Force Schedule Act 520, which is Amendment 2011 that gives CIDB the authority to control and regulate the quality of construction materials produced locally or reported through the certification process. As stated here, the services offered by CREAM are sampling and data collection, identification and preservation of physical evidence, on-site and laboratory testing, and lastly, root cause analysis through testing and diagnostics. And the next industry involved in forensic science is BDO Malaysia. Their forensic technology services comprises of 4 key areas, which are digital evidence recovery, which provide expert testimony to explain the manner in which evidence was located, extracted, and examined, including exact binary image of copies of the digital evidence. Next, cyber forensic. The professional will work to determine the extent of the computer network attack, affix culpability, assess financial losses, recommended corrective action, implement corporate compliance and defensive programs, and reduce the potential of cyber-related civil litigation. Other than that, forensic data analysis. The analysts use the latest techniques including data extraction, data storage, data mining and visualization, password cracking and de-encryption techniques to provide a cost-efficient resolution to data investigation issues. And last but not least, document management services. They draw upon the latest document management tools that allow them to archive, search, find, organize, share, and reproduce documents. Their extensive experience and skills in document management allows them to advise, assist, set up, or run your document needs.
Moving on to the next section, which is the 4 examples how forensic biotechnology played a role in a sustainable development. Firstly, is the fingerprint analysis method that is used to solve a murder case that once occurred in Waikiki, Hawaii. In this case, although the cases has passed for more than 30 years, the fingerprint analysis method still succeeds in identifying the murderer, although the murderer have found to be dead years after the case. But through this case, we can see that the fingerprint method is really useful in solving crime and might be helpful in reducing crime cases in a country. Next example is the analysis of proteins in blood, or also called as serology. As we all know, we have been quarantining from COVID-19 for the past few years and having our endemic now. From the article, we can see that countries such as Hong Kong and also Singapore have been using this method to track coronavirus diseases. Something unique about this test is that it can detect past infections in which nasal and throat swab cannot. It also can detect other infections such as influenza and polio. Through this test, the healthcare party able to control and diagnose the diseases more accurately and efficiently.
For the third and fourth example of how forensic biotechnology has helped in sustainable development, we have DNA phenotyping, where back on Winter's Day 2011, Kendra Alston and her 3-year-old daughter, Malaysia Boyski, were found murdered in Columbia, South Carolina. 4 years following the double homicide, Columbia police uploaded a computer-generated sketch of a person of interest for the case. What was unusual about the composite image was that it was recreated solely based on the DNA sample found at the crime scene. This became the first case solved utilizing DNA phenotyping, with the killer arrested 2 years later in 2017. Next, we have immunochromatography. Immunochromatography is a method to test for disease by dropping a small sample onto a prepared test strip. Results are relatively quick, and common tests that use this technique includes COVID-19, HIV, and even pregnancy tests. In forensic, immunochromatography tests are used to detect substance in subjects' bodily fluids such as drugs and medication. A smartphone-based sensor has even been developed to evaluate a saliva sample through immunochromatography without needing to be in a lab.
Challenges in implementing forensic biotechnology can be broken down into 2, which are ethical issue and technical problem. For ethical issue, first is violation of one's privacy. Some people are wary about having their DNA information obtained, as this could violate their privacy. In some cases, authorities may force certain individuals, innocent and otherwise, to undergo DNA profiling as part of their data gathering. Aside from convicted criminals, the DNA database contains information on other innocents such as asylum patients and juvenile delinquents. According to MASA 2016, data is considered a commodity online and offline by both legal and illegal actors. For this reason, DNA data is primary target of cybercriminals. Once a person's DNA is mapped and stored in database, there is no way of ever removing it. One example of current issue regarding ethical issue of DNA profiling, which is it was recently DNA retention from newborns to be kept in the data bank as a way to assist criminal investigation raises question of privacy and civil liberties in Malaysia. Data also plays an integral role in the commission of many cybercrimes, primarily because it is not adequately protected and can be illicitly accessed and obtained. This brings me to my second point, which is DNA data banking for forensic investigation purposes raises concern over third parties' access. According to Iman and Masa 2019, DNA revealed easy to understand interpretation of health information. It is for this reason a number of businesses and organizations would want to have their hand upon DNA database, including healthcare providers, insurance carriers, and some employers. First, insurance agencies. Insurance companies could benefit of this information as to help them to determine which customers are more likely to file expensive claims based on their health condition that contained in DNA database. They might use the information to boost the policy premiums of customers they will worry suffer from high blood pressure or diabetes basing on their DNA information. Second is healthcare providers. What they do is basically they will share DNA data with partners for research purposes and development of new drug therapies and diagnostic tests. Lastly, some employers with access to DNA database may use it to screen recruits and refuse employment to those they think have genetic defects or anomalies.
Obtaining, storing, and analyzing large volumes of data for forensic reasons has been a source of contention for at least a decade, and the common availability and sale of digital information has worsened the problem. Digital forensics is described as the use of scientifically developed and validated methodologies to the identification, collecting, validation, and presentation of digital evidence acquired from digital sources. This is to aid the reconstruction of criminal events. However, when it comes to actual execution, these digital forensics investigative approaches encounter some significant problems. In digital forensics, experts use forensic technology to acquire evidence against criminals, while criminals use similar tools to hide, alter, or erase evidence to their crimes. This process is known as anti-forensics, which is categorized into the following types, which is encryption, data hiding in storage space, and covert channels. Encryption. It is properly used to protect data privacy by keeping it hidden from unauthorized users or persons. Unfortunately, criminals can utilize it to conceal their crime. Data hiding in storage space. By using system commands and software, criminals frequently hide bits of data inside the storage media in an untraceable form. Lastly, covert channel. A covert channel is a communication protocol that enables an attacker to get around intrusion detection systems and hide data on the network. It was utilized by the attacker to conceal his connection to the compromised system.
The recommendations to improve forensic biotechnology are continuation of federal funding to support capacity building, infrastructure development, and adoption of the latest technology. The government or private sector funds are the possible sources of funding. They should be used to support laboratory analysis, staff recruiting, and personnel competency by attending professional meetings and trainings. As a result, government financing for forensic services providers such as RMP and Kimia DNA laboratories must be closely regulated and handled effectively to avoid costs and delays in our legal system. Then, maintaining data security. Only officers selected by the Home Affairs Minister should have access to the FDDM system, and these officers should get specialized training on the security threats associated with the data contained in the system. In order to keep the system's integrity, appropriate safeguards should be taken to ensure that any information can't be easily modified and/or manipulated. A very strict punishment should be held to the officers or safeguards that are proven guilty in leaking the data.
Implementing methods that decrease the impact of bias, adopting measures to decrease the impact of cognitive bias on an analysis, such as blocking access to irrelevant and potentially biased data. Establishment of duty to notify and duty to correct in preventing ethical issue. When errors or major breaches of scientific principle or ethics are discovered, a duty to fix mistake and a duty to warn effective defendant should be appointed. Improve the education system in the field of forensic biotechnology, strengthen the teaching and learning system by hiring experienced educators to improve student understanding and make sure all equipment and facilities needed are provided and well maintained. This is to make sure researchers of caliber are born, allowing them to create new and more advanced technology, as people from new generation will have more fresh ideas about technology. By using this way, forensic team can adapt with new technology quickly rather than rely fully on the traditional way.